After 88 days of evidence, today Lord Justice Leveson mapped out the future as he sees it for the British press. Some of his conclusions were damning. The press, he said, was a guardian of democracy, but too often it had ignored its responsibilities.
This has damaged the public interest, caused real hardship and, on occasion, wreaked havoc in the lives of innocent people.
The big question for the future, how to regulate the newspaper industry, how to strike a balance between journalistic freedom and the need to prevent wrongdoing. Lord Justice Leveson called for a new regulatory body to enforce standards in the press. He said it should be independent of the industry and politicians, but set up through new legislation.
This is not and cannot reasonably or fairly be characterised as statutory regulation of the press. I am proposing independent regulation of the press organised by the press itself, with a statutory process to support press freedom, provide stability and guarantee for the public that this new body is independent and effective.
Listening to the judge, some of the victims of phone hacking and press harassment, like the parents of the murdered schoolgirl Millie Dowler. The allegation that journalists hacked her phone was the reason the inquiry was set up in the first place.
The consensus is that we welcome the contents of the report, and in particular, both the findings it contains and the recommendations which are proposed. In particular, there is a clear recognition of wide-scale failings in the culture, ethics and standards of the press and the devastating consequences which this has had for the victims.
And what about politicians who got too close to the newspapers, particularly those belonging to News International? Outside today's press conference, campaigners called for an end to what they said was the Murdoch mafia. The judge said he was concerned at behind-the-scenes lobbying by the big media companies.
Everyday interactions between journalists and politicians cause no concern. But senior politicians across the spectrum have accepted that in a number of respects the relationship between politics and the press has been too close. I agree.
Do you think there'll be a coalition over Leveson?
Today, senior members of the government have been in talks about how to respond to the report. The two parties disagree.
I'm going to discuss it now, and I haven't got anything to say about it.
This afternoon, the Prime Minister told MPs he agreed with the Leveson principles on regulation, but was not convinced new laws were necessary.
If they can be put in place, we truly will have a regulatory system that delivers public confidence, justice for the victims and a step change in the way the press is regulated in our country. I accept these principles and I hope the whole House will come in behind them. And the onus should now be on the press to implement them and implement them radically.
Lord Justice Leveson's report has the potential to change the way the press operate. He said it's now in the politicians' court. They will have to decide what to do next. Ben Gagan, BBC News.